Hey there, YouTubers. So in this video, I'm going to take the Ryzen 9 3900X off of this computer and place it into this X570. Now, at least a year, 2 years ago, I had an X570. It eventually died. And so I got another one off eBay. This one's got Wi-Fi. I think I spent like 70 bucks on it, so we needed a upgrade. Now, eventually the Ryzen 7 5800X will end up in there. And since though I bought this used, I have no idea if the BIOS was updated. So I don't know if the Ryzen 7 5800X will work right away. So we'll do this. We'll put this in since I have tons of CPUs. Might as well put this one in there. Eventually we'll do BIOS update, BIOS overview, and who knows what else. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to use the same CPU cooler, and I do not remember which kind this is. You know, I buy a lot of CPU coolers. Oh, it's ID Cooling, so we do know that the brand is ID Cooling. Other than that, folks, that's about all I can tell you. Wow, these are going to be hard to get to, especially when you're using the wrong type of, you're not using a Phillips, you're using a flathead. I don't know how that got on the set, folks. So we want to loosen up one side a little bit and then do the other. And do a little bit more. Now, interesting enough, with these AMD processors, if you use really cheap thermal paste, there is the potential that it will seize, the CPU cooler will seize to the CPU. Hopefully that won't happen with this one. So this guy should come off, and guess what? Feels like it's resisting me a little bit. Alright, so I'll take that off, boom, and disconnect the 4-pin. I didn't actually have the RGB plugged in. I don't know if you noticed that, but so we're going to go ahead and clean up the CPU. I'll spare you guys that. So one of the reasons I wanted to use this one, or excuse me, take the CPU out of this, put it in there, is this PCIe does not work anymore for some reason. There's some other issues. I actually got this, another motherboard I bought used off of eBay, and you'll notice the RAM, the way the RAM's in is not the proper way, right? You want to go here and here, A2, B2. Those are the only two RAM slots that worked on this motherboard. So, hence why it looks like that, okay? Undoubtedly, somebody will comment, oh, why do you have your RAM in those two spots? And obviously they didn't listen to the video. But that's, you know, it's not uncommon, folks, to have RAM slots crap out. Now the real question is, will we put some decent RAM in this other motherboard here, which, you know, it's an X570. You would think we would at least try and make this thing as awesome as some of the Intel products that we have on here. Alright, so I got that out of there. Like I said, we're going to need that. Now, notice the orientation of the CPU, folks. Let's get some light here, huh? The end closest to the lever arm. Little triangle here, triangle on the motherboard. And we should see the same thing over here, hopefully. Or maybe we don't. Well, so that's why it's good to know that. the at least the end closest to lever arm. So I'll pull this up and away, and then pull this out of here, and I may need to do a little more cleaning on this thing. So we're going to pop this up and away. So I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to take out the brackets, or excuse, yeah, the brackets that are on top. So if you know the channel, you know I'm a huge Intel guy. I really honestly hate screwing with AMD stuff. Come on, get in there. Whoa. No. I've never had one snap in like that. That's kind of scary. Hopefully everything's okay. If not, we're going to proceed anyways. Like nothing happened. Nothing happened, folks. All right. So let's take these out, because this is the same mounting plate. Maybe I'll go to the other side. I don't think you guys can see me. I didn't dress up again today, folks. Got a tank top on. It's like gym time. I should actually be working out instead of making this video. You know, that's probably one of the reasons this channel is not doing. My priorities are more for working out than they are for computers. Alright, so we're getting these screws out. And, you know, this thing, put this in the box, okay, along with the other, this other bracket. It's the same one. So, we got that, folks. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And that guy. I'll put the thermal paste on last after we get the brackets in. And I'll put the screws. Fed that ahead of time. Now this is where you wish you had an extra set of hands. Now I'm going to go to the other side again because the camera is pretty much in my way. So hopefully, I wasn't really paying attention. Hopefully this is the right orientation that we want, folks. Normally what I do with my Noctua CPU coolers, because they kind of use the same thing where you have a threaded post here that you're going to line your CPU cooler up with. You want to take this and orient it like the way you want it to be, okay? So we know we want it to look like that, and the fan is going to be on this side. So we put this in right. It helped that I had it in the other one beforehand. All right. One more. I almost tried to stick all 5 parts in at one time. If I had a third hand, folks, I could have pulled that off. This is where you wish your family members were more helpful towards your career on YouTube. So I got this comment the other day. You know, obviously you don't, a lot of these videos, you kind of have a little intro. Even the big channels, they'll babble on for a little while, then they'll get into what the video is about, right? Now, there's reasons for that. One, you don't want to make a 15-second video. You don't want to make a 30-second video. If it's not at least a minute, you're pretty much wasting your time as far as monetization goes. Now, it might get a lot more views, you know, because people might actually watch the whole video. But the thing is, you know, the whole monetization thing, if you're not going to make any money off of it, then some of you may not want to do it, right? Now I've made plenty of videos where I didn't make any money off of, but we definitely like making money. All right, so that's in. Once again, just make sure these are going to line up before we put thermal paste on, and I've got it oriented. We're going to slide this over. So this motherboard here, we don't need that anymore. So we want it to look like that, right? So now I've got to get my thermal paste. And to be honest with you, I'm going to take this and take it outside, hit it with the blower, if the blower's sitting out there, try and get some of that dust off. That's from Africa. Alright, so yeah, this other motherboard, who knows what I'll do with it. I need to see if it's compatible with the 3200G or the 3400G. So we're just going to put a little bit there, a little bit there. I can't remember what Noctua says for AMD. If this was Intel and we were using Noctua paste, it'd say 4 to 5 millimeter diameter in the middle. That may be a little more than we want. Alright. So let's go ahead and put this on there. Now, I did end up actually wiping it down, and there's a little bit of water still on this. So this is another place where you shouldn't do what I do, because this fan, when I turn the fan on, it's probably going to blow the water all over the place. But I could sit here for 24 hours, wait for it to dry. That would mean I'd have to actually edit this video, folks. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to put in 2 sticks of 3000 megahertz RAM. Now what you should do at this point, folks, if you haven't ordered RAM, go to their website and make sure that the RAM you're going to buy is compatible, okay? If it's not, you are wasting your time. So we're going to assume that I checked this RAM, made sure it's compatible. So A2 and B2 here are where we want to stick our 2 sticks of matching RAM, and we want to here hopefully double click, and we're applying pressure on both ends. Alright. Now with the one that has only the lever on the one side, you could probably get away with doing it on one side, but always better to do both. I didn't hear a double click, but it is definitely in, right? Now the way I put that in, so I came in at an angle, boom, snap. This one I kind of brought them both down at the same time, double snap. Alright, there's our RAM. What else, folks? Put our drives in. Hope the God these work. And honestly, you know, like I always tell people, really should start with 1 stick of RAM, 1 drive, right? I don't even have an M.2 sitting here. And we don't have the post either. I'm stealing one from this other motherboard. Let's see if it works. And it doesn't look like it's gonna. So we have to go back to the box and look for a post for this. Makes you wonder if the person that owned this prior to me actually ever did any installations on it. Alright, so no standoffs in here. So I'm going to assume that this guy is not meant to have one. So we're just going to go right into this. Oop! This is where yours truly has his most difficulty with these installations. You know, I have all these magnetic tip screwdrivers, and none of them seem to work today. I love it. Where's it? All right, so I finally got this freaking screw in there. Spare you guys the details. I never did find the original one though. It's in here somewhere. All right, so what have we forgot to do, folks? We haven't put the CPU cooler fan back on yet. It's just kind of dangling in the wind, right? It's not going to do us any good where it's at. We got cables everywhere. Sorry, I get this all straightened out. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on. And these usually just clip right on. Boom, 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 and that's in, okay? Now I like to have my fan relatively low to the base. It might be a little lower. Sometimes RAM will get in the way, but in this case we're good to go. Now on the back side, let's rotate this around. We're going to hook up our 4-pin. And here is our CPU cooler right here. This can only go in one way. Okay. And is this ARGB? Does not feel like it is. ARGB on the side. You have to be super careful with these, folks. I think on videos I've probably almost broke like 5 of these. Try and come in 90 degrees, do it gentle, make sure it's in, and boom, good to go. Alright, so you of course would want to tie these up. Don't just leave it sitting there like that. It's kind of sloppy. So that'd be the final thing. Then of course you'll take this and install it into your motherboard. Now I would recommend, or into your case, folks, I would recommend connecting your 24-pin power connector first. You got to do your CPU, whether it's a 1x8 or 1x4 and a 1x8 back here. Then you need your power switch, which is the second row, third and fourth pins to the right. Okay. From there, you should be able to turn this thing on. Of course, you know, don't forget about your display. So you'll need a graphics card with this CPU. If you have one that ends with a G, you could plug in directly over here. Okay. But that's basically the minimums to just make sure that you're good to go and you can boot this thing up. Then come back and hook up all the other stuff. If your case has USB 3.0 cable, the USB 2.0s, HD audio over here. Maybe if you want to add some hard drives, do that after the fact. And then all your case fans. But hey, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you got something out of this. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.